Alright guys, welcome back. I have no idea why my microphone was not working. It's the same damn mic. It was not muted in XSplit. I saw the microphone bar moving, but hopefully you can all hear me. I just did a test local recording and heard my voice, so I'm just going to go ahead and blame Twitch if it still doesn't work, because if it works in XSplit, it should work on Twitch, but hopefully it's all fixed. I'm just kidding. I love you guys, Twitch. But anyway, I was introducing the team, so I guess you guys missed all my sterling analysis of the draft, but that is a-okay. On the side of not the retry, of El Pride, well, I should say, let me restart this cast a little bit. Welcome back, everybody. You're currently watching the We Play TV Dota 2 League. I'm LD, I'll be on the summit. The broadcasting partner for this league, of course, WePlay.tv is the host, as well as, the organizer. Your sponsors, of course, Logitech, Western Digital, and Inno3D. Quickly, we can look at the brackets for this evening. It's the Retry, El Pride, Fnatic EU, and Kaipi. It's Group D right now. From this group, only 2 teams will emerge and move on to Phase 2, where there will be 16 total teams waiting. We start with 32, we cut it in half twice, and then we move to a double elimination bracket, which should probably be the highlight of the tournament. But anyway, with all that being said, we have a bit of a prolonged pause. So, on the side of El Pride, we have Cap Jack, the stand-in for this team, rumored to be their new 5th member, playing that lone druid. He will be heading to the safe lane, a pretty well-known Swedish streamer, apparently, although I personally have not watched his stream. Nestlick playing the Rubik. He'll be the captain and the presumably the strat caller for this team, heading to the safe lane. Lad Shorty standing in for Massacre, going to be handling the puck. Shaco playing that Magnus. We'll have to see where he heads, but I'm not sure who's going mid. Both heroes feasibly could in this game. Android P on the Chen, going to be defensive jungling. And over on the side of the retry, or Team PGG, we have AZN playing the Templar Assassin, Nexus on the Keeper of the Light, Delirium on the Shadow Demon, McDeath on the Brewmaster, and the one, the only, PGG on the Nature's Prophet. PGG, it's been too long. Good to have you back on the show, man. Well, guys, it looks like we are ready to resume, so hopefully the stream audio is fixed. No idea why it mysteriously stopped working. That makes literally 0 sense since the local recording works and, well, the in-game audio works. Go figure. Hopefully it's working for y'all now. If it's not, somebody let me know on Skype, because I'm not going to even think about reading stream chat. Too many trolls. Not going to touch it. So anyway, we will have to resume quickly. Lone Druid Bear going to be scouting things out. Of course, guys, the format for the We Play Dota 2 League is best out of 1 double elimination for the group stages. So the top 2 teams advance. You need to be the winner's bracket champion to get first place, or the loser's bracket champion to get second, and every match best out of 1. So very little margin for error. Neither team can assume they have the series won.
30 seconds.
Just keeping an eye on Skype here to see if the audio has been fixed yet. Hopefully someone will be able to tell me relatively soon, as I continue to see my microphone bar moving, which is generally a good sign. Yep, thank you, XSplit or Twitch, for randomly not working. We have another quick disconnect, but I'm glad to see everything's resolved now. So, guys, welcome back to the game. Hopefully you're all enjoying what has been a game of pauses so far. I'll show you the brackets again while we wait, and I guess talk a little bit more about what's coming up later this week, or this weekend. I'll be on the summit. Tomorrow, we're going to move on to another group for We Play Dota 2 League. I actually can't remember off the top of my head which group it is, but I will quickly try and check since we have, well, a bit of a break here. Let's see. Who do we have next? I should know, to be honest, but it's been a busy week. Well, in the meantime, while I'm looking that up, I should say also the G1 League, we finally wrapped up phase number 2. We will be moving on to, or round 1 of phase 2. We'll be moving on to round 2 of phase 2. And, well, looking quickly, I believe it's going to be, I want to say it's going to be Group B, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll verify that for you guys later. But anyway, we have another group being played tomorrow, as well as the start of round 2 for the G1 League. So things heating up there, getting a little bit more interesting. And aside from that, the studio, well, it's a work in progress. We have some equipment on the way. We have to go furniture shopping soon. Estimated time of having something to show you guys, probably, I want to say like 3 to 4 weeks, and then to have everything fully set up, well, no real timetable. It's going to be a work in progress, but we should have the basics, the makings of the studio relatively soon, as it looks like we do have a reconnect now from Nestlick. So hopefully we'll get this game underway soon. Alright, here we go. Back inside the game. Good, because I was honestly not prepared to fill all that space while checking for technical issues. So, Lone Druid Bear scouting things out in the jungle, seeing McDeath and driving him back. Want to point out the retry, some serious aggressive wards, some hate towards the enemy Chen, as well as towards the potential double pulls from El Pride. Foray into the enemy jungle. They are looking to run that aggressive tri-lane with the Panda, like I mentioned. Not necessarily the best hero to have in a tri-lane, simply because he needs levels and doesn't offer as much as some other heroes can at the lower levels. Like, Panda's a strong tri-lane hero, but if he doesn't get a 6 in a timely fashion, it's really going to neuter the retry. He is their hero that starts the fights. If Panda doesn't have level 6 and he doesn't have good farm, their ability to start the fights is going to be dramatically reduced. So, hopefully they will have a decent start on him. As for this tri-lane, it's going to be a hard lane, I would say, to find a kill, as long as Nestlik is in the right position, and as long as Lone Druid is regen. There's going to be a lot of harassment, there's potential to tower dive, but with a nice telekinesis lift, you can stop that Brewmaster from actually hitting his clap, you can interrupt him with the Rubik. It does make it hard to easily find the kills. They may be able to do it by diving the tower, but if played properly, El Pride shouldn't lose any heroes early on. They'll be under a lot of pressure. They won't get too much farm on the Lone Druid in all likelihood, but should be a lane that they do okay and considered it's dual lane versus tri-lane. As for the other lanes, mid lane, well, Templar Assassin versus Puck. A lane that Puck can get some farm in, but ultimately TA is going to have the better damage and pretty much be immune to any harassment from Puck. Mind the position on a Rubik and notice that there is in fact an Observer Ward in the lane, as well as keeping the D-wards out, just to make sure that there's no vision for the Radiant. Up against an aggressive China with the Kodal, you want that vision, and right now, they really don't have a whole lot. Just a neutral creep, or a Radiant creep currently scouting things out. Then the top lane. Offensive jungle from the Chen, maybe worried about getting ganked, so just decides, I'm going to put some pressure on this Nature's Prophet, and I think this is where they can really have a good time. Nature's Prophet cannot do much against these heroes. So far, good positioning from Nestlik. You really just kind of want to hover like in this area, maybe over here if your Lone Druid pushes up a little more. I'm actually not a big fan of hugging the tree line, because that's where they can circle around. But he sees all three heroes in the lane right now, so the retry not really putting too much pressure on him. Android P did not get the right creep to actually dive that top tower yet, but if he gets, say, a Dark Troll Warlord, they could look to go. You can initiate with the Magnus Skewer. The main thing is going to be they need a Reign of Basilius to push the wave effectively, and you can see what PGG's up to, trying to disrupt this Chen's jungle farm a bit. So far, no kills on this bottom lane. They're running the tri-lane. They're not getting kills. Keeper's only 1. Shadow Demon's 1. Panda only 2. Gotta say, they need to find an opening here because they've not only wasted a huge amount of time, but they've also invested 4 wards already in this bottom lane. 3 heroes levels being delayed, 4 wards being deployed, and nothing really doing. Generally what you like to do with the Keep of the Light tri-lane is actually spam Illuminate, drive them under the tower, and then either dive them or just farm their stacks. But we're not seeing that. They chose to basically try and just sit in the lane and harass a little bit, but not really committing to the tower dive, not committing to the push. It's only a level 2 keeper, but I imagine we'll see more spam soon. Once the lane gets pushed, Nestlik says, oh, well, fine, I'm going to go ward. There was that initial push where Keeper pushed into the tower, but you really want to keep on spamming Illuminate. You normally start with multiple Clarity Potions. Instead, Nexius starts with a Teleport Scroll, something that isn't going to help them push. But this could be an opportunity. Capjack getting called out. This movement away by the Rubik was spotted. Oh no, there's your first blood. Nestlik took the opportunity while the lane was pushed to place some wards, but there was not an appropriate response from the Lone Druid. If your support's out of the lane and you're 1v3, you need to back the hell off and not even be in a position where they can initiate upon you. So some miscommunication there between the two, and cost the first blood. This is, of course, a new player to the team, a stand-in of sorts, although rumored to be their new 5th. So that's the kind of thing that happens when you don't have too much team experience. I believe he's been scrimming with them, but I'm not sure for how long exactly. So, an unfortunate death, an avoidable death, but not the end of the world necessarily, because, well, Puck's still getting some levels, and top lane, they really could look to go on PGG soon. Unfortunately, Android P just keeps on getting, like, the worst possible creeps, continuously with the Satyr Tormentors. One of the worst creeps in the game for tower diving. I mean, sure, it gives you a spammable nuke, but no lockdown, no CC, and that's something you really want against a hero like Prophet. Oh, here we go. There's your disruption. Rubik in position. Needs to lift the Panda, prevent the clap. Will do so. But a perfect block! Oh, Capjack. Well, normally the lift will be enough, but if you get a block like that, then it won't be. And, well, after that first death, things just going from bad to worse. Urn is already out on our Panda, and the Prophet just leaving that top lane. We will see the immediate counter push, I imagine, as there's a level 5 Chen.
is under attack.
on the map. Meanwhile, Puck, what is he up to? Is he looking for a courier snipe? TA is bottle crowing. Oh, last shorty. That's what he's looking for. He saw this bottle is not in the inventory. He knows there's some bottle crow, and he wants to snipe it. Can he pick it off? He's going to need 2 auto attacks to bring it down. He'll port forward. Actually, he might need 3. He ports in. He doesn't get caught in the trees. He gets it with 2. Great individual play from last shorty. He doesn't actually have an orb, but he does have phase shift. Still, things not looking good. They lose their tier 1 early. Panda's going to get a lot more farm and levels than you would expect he would because of those 2 kills. Boots earn up despite running the tri lane. Not 6 yet, but going to have it relatively quickly, all things considered. And they didn't actually get the tier 1 top. Despite having 2 Chen creeps, despite having a Magnus who has arcane boots, can spam shockwave, not putting enough pressure. I mean, you could do things like pull the wave into the creeps. I didn't see exactly what they were doing there, but if you pull the wave into the creeps and you're tanky with Chen creeps just constantly hitting the tower, you should be able to bring it to at least a quarter HP. They did use Glyph, but even so, I mean, nobody's been in this lane for a solid 45 seconds, so I feel like they didn't really take full advantage, but without having seen it, can't say for sure. Delirium in a bit of a pickle here. There's your net to fly. Centaur not being microed at all. Oh no, Android P. Now he realizes he's a Centaur. He looks to send it in. Will stun. There's the stun. But I think we might see Android P go down anyway. The negative earn charge. That will bring him down. Now a skewer on 2. No mana for the RP by Shaco. Still gets the kill anyway. Actually hasn't skilled the RP. He's level 6. Hasn't skilled it yet. Doesn't really need it. A shockwave will be enough, I think, to get this kill. 1 auto attack. Down he'll go. A double out of nowhere, really. Out of left field. And although the retry got the tier 1, they just gave up. Stopped pressuring bottom lane. Abandoned that lane. Sent their entire team top to defend that tower. Generally, you should be fine with just the Keeper of the Light. I guess they're worried about getting tower dove, but I mean, now you're just giving Lone Druid a safer lane to farm. The Azen, or AZN. Oh, do I have the wrong overlay up? Whoops, sorry. Yep. That was a bit of a blunder. Oh, man. We play if you're watching. I am very sorry. That won't happen again. Yeah, all those technical issues. Oh, well. What can you do? Here we go, guys. Just another day in the life. XSplit messing with me. Overlays messing with me. Microphones messing with me. Why everybody messing with me? But as far as the strategy goes right now, the retry... The tri-lane looked good at first. They played well in sort of just those initial fights, but they have to keep the pressure up bottom, I was about to say, and it looks like that's what they're going to do. In comes the clap. Capjack in a lot of trouble. The Sprout, not even needed. Actually doesn't have a point in Sprout. This is your PGG Nature's Prophet. More interested in just securing some additional kills and getting a couple extra creeps for himself. Delirium on the run. Ursa clap, not there. Needs to find that clap. Oh, too late. He had the opportunity. Waits too long. Now he's going to miss it. Android P, now in trouble. On the backside, there's a coil just for Delirium. He will go down. Didn't actually get the death notification, but... Oh, well, got the notification. Did get the sound effect. McDeath on the run. Prophet on the run. PGG, Midas already up. He is very fat. And Azen just continued to pressure this mid lane. That courier death really hurt him because he had his bottle on the courier, so... as well as his boots, actually. It was flying out his boots and his bottle. In spite of that, still 36-7 and ahead of the Puck. And that just tells you how weak Puck is as a little matchup for the Templar Assassin. A hero that just can't really do anything to shut her down in lane. So they get the kill on the Lone Druid. Now he's back to farming at the tower. I really want to see constant pressure on these lanes from the retry. They have a nice lead now, sitting about 1,000 gold. But really not that substantial, and it's because they pushed that tower so early and just abandoned the lane. They didn't leave anyone there, so Lone Druid starts to get some CS. Actually up to 27 on Capjack, and they're going to go again. I like to see this, just constantly forcing the issue bottom lane. Get that Panda ult up. You can look for a fight and then take the tier 2. They're dewarding to make sure the way is clear. Now they'll foray into the enemy jungle, but little do they know, a very somewhat unusual ward has been planted here. It will spot the rotation as well as this ward, so they're making sure on the side of El Pride to keep that Lone Druid safe, make sure that Capjack can at least get a bit of farm. And Shaco's getting close to a Blink Dagger, getting close to RP, and come mid-game, it's going to be hard for the retry to take a 5v5 fight unless the Panda ultimate is perfect. Because if Mag hits an RP on multiple heroes, the retry's lineup has some split push potential, but is largely like a mid-game timing lineup since AZN isn't that fat on his Templar Assassin. I mean, a hero that can carry pretty well, but it's going to have trouble against Elpred's composition. It's more of a lineup where you get your Panda ultimate, you get your Prophet with some, like, say that mechanism after his Midas, and then you just go start taking all the outer towers, ult being plopped down now. Not actually going to go. Oh, was looking for last shorty. Not quite enough to get the kill. PGG, maybe think about a TP in. Not going to go for it. So I think, all things considered for Pride, they're actually in fantastic position right now. I mean, not ideal by any means, but they've lost one tower to an offensive tri-lane with a Prophet safe lane. That's kind of ridiculous. Normally you'd lose 3 towers at this point if you're giving up double kills, but PGG hasn't really been applying that much pressure to the lanes. Magnus is already level 8. Going on him is dangerous. He's got RP. He's got a skewer. The Shadow Demon back into his tower. He drops the RP. The counter kill should be here if the tower cooperates, and it will. Delirium to fall. Magnus to live. Shaco on the run. And meanwhile, Lone Druid alone should be absolutely fine against this Brewmaster. If he gets clapped and ulted, he may die, but aside from that, there's really no way to bring him down. Top lane, our Puck Dream Coil. Last shorty. Well timed there. Waits until the last second, drops the silence. PGG throwing away his own life, and now Nexus looking for a kill in last shorty, but will orb away the Illuminate. Nope, great phase shift dodging. Gotta say, last shorty playing quite well, and unfortunately, we're gonna see another disconnect from our friend Nestalik. Somebody buy this guy some new internet. Goodness gracious. Guys, everybody, thank you very much for joining us. I know there's a lot of other Dota going on right now, and you probably don't know what's going on in We Play League Land, so Dota 2 League Land. So let me fill you in. This is the WePlay.tv Dota 2 League. It's a North American European event with 32 teams invited. Pretty much every top team in North America and Europe is competing. $20,000 in total prizes, 10,000 cash, 10,000 gear across the main event, as well as all the associated show matches. Speaking of which, we may have some more in the coming weeks from what I've heard. Pretty excited about that. It may be something resembling sort of a King of the Hill format, which would be pretty fun. And of course, Navi would be the defending Kings of the Hill. So looking forward to hopefully getting to see some more of them. But as far as the main event goes, we start with 32 teams. We break them up into 8 groups. And for each group, only 2 teams emerge. So we're going to cut from 32 to 16. Then we do the same thing again from 16 to 8. And then at that point, we switch to a double elimination bracket with the 8 teams, which in theory could be like a who's who of who's best in the Western scene. But before we get there, we got to get through these first set of groups. And, well, we're in the third group. We're currently in Group D, but the third group to be played out. The Retry, Pride, Fnatic EU, and Kaipi. Obviously, Fnatic EU, the heavy favorites to take first. Most of these groups have one really strong team, as there's about 8 or 9, maybe 10, like, just premier teams in the Western scene right now. But the competition for that second place is usually the most interesting aspect of things. And here we go. Looks like we're going to have our unpause now. Back inside the game we go. Puck going to blink away. Already has the blink dagger up. Blink on Puck 11 minutes in. Magnus blink. Shaco getting that soon. Avoiding that death earlier. Really allowing him to accelerate his blink timing. And with the double blinks, now it gets almost impossible for the Retry to force a fight when those ultimates are up. They are down right now, chipping away at this tower. But the mid-game follow-up just doesn't seem to be there for this team. It's all about the Brewmaster for them. They tri-laned him, they delayed his level 6, and now they're looking to go bottom. They might find Capjack. He was sitting in range for him, wanting to just get some extra last hits with his hero. He'll pay with his life. The problems continue. Looks like it wasn't spotted by a Radiant Ward. I mean, this ward will protect you, but not from a hasted Templar assassin. By the time you see that, you're pretty much dead, and probably didn't actually have a TP scroll either, so really just nothing he could do there. Last shorty going to TP in bottom now. Has the blink, has the silence, has the ult. Panda's not going to be an easy kill, but he wants PGG on the hunt. Come on, last shorty. Show him what you're working with. He's got that level 4 ult. We'll throw it out now. PGG about to be silenced, about to be coiled, about to go down yet again. He's being hunted. Just brutally hunted all over the map. I think PGG's got a fan. Top lane, Shaco continuing to farm, has his blink dagger up now, and exactly what I was talking about is once the Magnus and the Puck get level 6, get their blink daggers up, pushing into the side up gets nearly impossible, and that's why for the retry, I've really felt like they had to force the issue more from that 5 to 10 minute mark, get multiple towers. At this point, their best plan is going to be to sit back and farm. As strange as it sounds, you've got to farm your Prophet and your Templar Assassin some big items. Get something like a Yasha, a Desolator. Looks like the Yasha will be the choice. I like this. Basically, you want to accelerate your split push. You want to spread their lineup so that they can't rely on their big wombo combo 5-man squad to just defeat you in the team fights. Of course, Chen is a pretty serviceable 5-man hero with his ultimate. So I like the fact we're seeing the Asha. This is pretty much the ideal split push item for a Templar Assassin, rather than the Blink Dagger, which I don't think would offer too much this game. As for the Prophet, would really like to see that Orchid, that Shadow Blade, the really in vogue split push option as of late. Glyph gets popped top, Magnus RP is available, he's lurking in the wing, Shaco gets spotted out actually by that Prophet ultimate. Will blink away. I think he got spotted. Oh, or maybe they just had suspicions. Nice deny by Lad Shorty. Man, he's playing well today, huh? Kills the courier mid, has picked off PGG 3 or 4 times, and now going to deny the tower top. Just all over the place, this guy. I mean, a stand-in perhaps, but making a strong case for Massacre's spot in the team, I must say. Massacre, you best come back soon. This guy has his eye on your position. We've seen a rotation mid from Android P. He's got the mechanism now. Expect he'll be buying it any moment. For L Pride, they just want a turtle, basically. Farm their heroes up, protect the lone druid. That's your #1 priority, because he's the one who's really struggling. You have the double blinks, smoke up behind him, bait him a little bit, since the retry has shown a propensity to go on him. Or alternatively, just 5-man. Abuse the fact that you have reverse polarity as well as coil, and just try and force some fight. Sure, there's a Keeper of the Light, but you have a mechanism, you have Hand of God, you can go for at least a tier 1. Usher that Keeper of the Light off the tower. We'll need to pop the mech here. Yeah, imagine we'll see him get popped now, and with that, they should be able to get the tier 1, at least forcing out a Glyph. We'll see one more Illuminate being channeled by Nexius, but it's only level 2, not going to be enough to fully stop this push. And the smart play from the retry. They're split pushing, they're going for the trades. They're actually resummoning the Brewmaster. Does he have a Blink Dagger yet? He does not. But they're looking to fight this one anyway. Tower's already dead. In comes the Illuminate. Not really sure why they pulled him back into the fight, considering how far away he was. And they're going on Nestling, but guess what? He's got Refraction. And now, no, this could be the death of our Panda, the RP. Oh boy, he gets disrupted. He won't get off the RP, and it's a good thing he did it, because that was only going to hit a Panda who had just popped his ult. Still Shaco drops the RP, gets nothing. That clutch disruption, that clutch Panda ult. The RP could have just been cast, but he went Skewer first and then tried to RP after it ended. And in the end, just wasn't going to work out. Capjack on the run. Big damage to Delirium, who's dropping low. Last Shorty, double kill for him. Still alive. Where the hell did he go? I'm completely lost track of him in that fight. Actually ports forward with the orb, picks up the triple, now on the run. The chase coming out from AZN, but he doesn't have first refraction. Oh yeah, yes he does. Just waiting to use it, not popping it yet. Has a regen rune as well. He'll pop the regen, he'll refract, and if you actually gets it canceled immediately by the creeps. Not really ideal. Probably should have just refracted run and then cast it, but either way, not the biggest deal. PGG up to 2k gold. What's he gonna go for? Will it be that Shadow Blade? Will it be that Orchid? Thinking about a go on. Last Shorty mid. And now they have the Brewmaster Blink. Oh, man. I don't know. Another disconnect. Really? Really? Nestlick. Jeez, I feel for you, man. How long has he been disconnected? I didn't even see that. I guess he's just been chilling. So much action this game. 18 kills, 16.5 minutes in. Constant engagements in the retry. Gonna abuse the fact that they have Templar Assassin with Max Melt and go Rosh. I think they're actually playing this strategically pretty sound. The one thing I didn't like was the lack of pressure bottom, but they've really stabilized here in the mid game. They're abusing the strength of their lineup to go for the Rosh, and not having the Panda ultimate, still feeling confident they can make this happen. I guess they're just gonna 4v5. They could really use Rubik. He can steal that. He can steal that Panda ultimate. He can steal Refraction. He can even steal Illuminate and just be a nuisance in these team fights. We're now going to see PGG 3.2k. He's getting fat. He can get something big soon. I imagine it'll be some sort of split push item. Even something like an Aghanims would be okay. I really think you're better off with the Orchid, the Shadow Blade, though. Put some pressure on this enemy squad, and now they pause. Did they just realize he was disconnected? I am not sure what's going on. Oi, oi, oi. I do apologize for all these delays, guys. It's just been a rough game, I guess, for these two teams. Hopefully things will settle down for them later on, as we will see them each at least one more time tonight. But before we get to that, the retry smoked up, looking to push bottom. Blink up on the Panda. No ultimate for about 40 seconds. Our Rubik Nestlik finally back in the game. Let's see how long that lasts for. Meanwhile, a Wild Templar Assassin appears mid. Bucket skewered back into the tower. Refraction cooling down. Looks like she will take a fall here in a moment's time. Could meld. Loses the Aegis. Are they going to fight again? They don't have a skewer, but they do have an RP. Don't want to let her get Refraction off. She's lifted up in the air. She's thrown back into the tower. The dust gets popped. Blinking from Panda. No ultimate just yet. The RP. Oh, he didn't actually catch the Panda there in the end. It looks like an McDeath on the run. Our Templar Assassin on the run as well. Was able to live. The RP, I feel like that didn't stun anyone there. Maybe I'm blind, but looks like it completely whiffed. Now McDeath has his Panda ult. They could look to go back in with this. A little bit dangerous. They just have to make sure they get a lot of kills and get him out safely. But PGG is pushing top and now up to 4K. Spend your gold, PGG. You know you want to. Not doing it just yet. Capjack has finally decided he wants to be in Big Bear form. That's the one thing I would question from him, is he's been caught in range form a few too many times. We even saw him in range form mid earlier, just chilling when they were pushing, and that's very dangerous. It's one of the reasons why he's 0-5. The other, of course, is just some bad luck. We saw the Shadow Demon illusion block earlier, just the constant pressure in the lane, but standing in range form is a great way to just feed as a lone drone. I would know, speaking from experience here. AZN up to 1200 gold. PGG Ultimate Orb. So Scythe of Ice for him, but the same kind of idea, just an item that allows them to split push and punishes the enemy team if they go to defend with 2 or 3 heroes. For El Pride, they're going to have to start looking to defend with most of their team because a lot of these heroes will be pretty vulnerable to the Scythe of Ice ganks. With the Templar Assassin and the Prophet there, they can kill off almost anyone. There is Hand of God, true, but a lot of these heroes, look at Puck, 900 health, 5 armor, will be total food for the Templar Assassin, and now the pressure bottom is mounting. The map control really accelerating for the retry and kind of slipping away for El Pride. We do see a recall back towards mid. PGG forced to join his team as the teleports come bottom, just anticipating the rotation and looking to get the leg up. And then PGG says no, I want to go top, wants to go in Capjack, but while that was happening, we actually had our Rubik. Did he disconnect again, I wonder? Just gets picked off by himself. Top lane, PGG drives that poor Capjack back to base again. He's going armlet on his bear, which is a decent choice this game. The plus armor on the bear, you know, not only good for tanking towers, but going to be very effective versus Templar Assassins minus armor, just to keep it alive a bit longer. So I think it's a suitable choice, and especially because he is just not getting a whole lot of farm. Dreamcoil deployed bottom lane. AZN, if he gets entangled, he's dead. The root is there, and the death will follow. Not able to escape in the end. A little bit unlucky. And the tower denied. Overstays his welcome. Pays with his life. Plays with his life and then pays with it. And now PGG about to complete his Scythe of Ice. Not the fastest Scythe of Ice in the world, but pretty damn fast at that. And a wild level 10 Panda. Oh, he doesn't have the level 2 ult. So crucial to get that. Gonna go in on Nestlik here. Not popping the ult just yet. Clap was stolen. And actually, Drunken Haze was stolen. Illuminate gonna finish Nestlik off. Panda ult pretty much completely blown. Not going to accomplish anything. This is only a level 1 Panda ult. It does not last very long. They can push a wave or so, and then they're going to have to back off. So that really hurts them. With this Panda ult down, this is an opportunity for El Pride to force a fight, to potentially get some kills. And there won't be much the retry can do in a head-on engagement. They, as mentioned before, entirely rely on that Panda ultimate to actually win a fight head-on. I mean, just look at the team fight of El Pride. So much AoE, so much burst damage, so much lockdown. And then even good survivability coming from the Chen, of course. You're currently watching a best of 1, guys, between the Retry and El Pride. This is the We Play Dota 2 League. Winner, 1 best of 1 away from taking first place in the group. Loser, they get knocked down, 1 game away from being eliminated. Top 2 teams for the group will advance. It's double elimination bracket format. And the bottom 2 go home. So we will see who it is. But right now, I feel like looking okay for the retry. Despite being up 7,500 gold and 3,000 experience, it's still not over yet. El Pride have the kind of lineup that can turtle, can win 1 big fight and completely turn the game, especially with Rubik, who can steal that Panda ultimate. If they have Panda ultimate, reverse polarity, and the Pucks combo, they can just crush a team fight. But PGG picking up a Scythe of Ice. This is the item he wants to basically make sure that El Pride have to stick together as a team or else risk giving up easy kills. Capjack once again in range form. Imagine he'll go into the Big Bear form soon. It also gives you access to your, oh, what is it called? Your Battle Cry, not War Cry, which does a lot of additional damage to the tower, but he's choosing to stay form. Meanwhile, a big man up from our puck. Dream coils Nexus, but won't accomplish anything, and we could potentially see, well, a blink away, actually, in the end. Lone Druid gets the tower, but PGG looking to breach high ground. He wants to use that Midas. He'll do it now, and he's going to force some TPs back immediately. 3 heroes joining mid. While this was happening, AZN caught under a Sentry Ward. Apparently has not realized it, because he's just sitting here like, well, I guess I should run now. Has already used Refraction out of the defensive charges, has a meld. The blink in, the RP catches 2. There's no Panda ult. Oh boy, Shaco's going to get caught as well. Shaco actually was not spotted. They didn't have this vision. They didn't know he was right on top of the Templar Assassin. So basically, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. That's what El Pride got there. PGG still alive. Rare to see him not being the primary person who's dying on his team. I had another word in mind. 2 and 5, but he's actually playing pretty solid. I would say playing better than the rest of his team, to be totally honest. Decision making has been pretty good. There were a few needless deaths earlier, but since then has played pretty stable. And El Pride looking to push in mid. They have the 3 Chen creeps, but with the constant pressure from PGG, actually getting a push going is nearly impossible. He hasn't used his ult yet, but he'll probably look to do so now. He's been spamming it with quite a bit of frequency, and there you go. Pops the ult, pushing that top lane in. Treant's there as well. El Pride has some good counter push, but when there's Keeper and Prophet and a Templar Assassin with a Yasha, the lanes are always going to be under siege. Early gem from Nexius, I do love this choice. I think he's had it for a while now, to be honest, but it's a fairly early gem, and with their lineup, the split push style, you want to have the map control. So you know if you can see if El Pride smoke anywhere outside of their base, and you can look to punish it, or just run away from it. And also make them feel very unsafe to leave the base. You can see, just because the lanes are pushed, constantly as a result of having this global pressure on all the lanes, you get fantastic vision all over the map. And really restricting. I did the boa constrictor style. That's what we're seeing from the retry. Roshan's coming up soon. I imagine the retry just looking for that X-Rosh. They're going to need to start transitioning towards the late game in terms of their items, though. This Templar Assassin, this Prophet have to get very fat. We'll probably need to see BKBs on both of them just to live through the nuke damage. We'll most likely need to see some big damage items as well. Things like Desolator, MKB will be essential later on to deal with the Lone Druid, who now has an armlet up on his bear, Hyperstone as well. Not very farm, but doesn't need many items to outcarry these heroes once we get late enough into the game. The split push continues from Asian. He's going to back off for the moment. On the run, Yasha, of course, giving him a little additional move speed. And the warding has been pretty superb from the retry. The warding, the gem, the support play in general. Looks like PGG is thinking of a BKB first. Potentially this could be an Aghanim Scepter, but normally start the point booster, and it's just not that great of an item for the cost on Prophet. I mean, your ult's already pretty freaking good once you just max it, and just getting that additional damage not really going to help you all that much. Now they feel pretty confident to push on the side of El Pride, and they should feel confident to take the fights. The only thing that will prevent them from taking fights is if the other lanes are getting pushed in. So if you're the retry, you really need to be streaming down mid. You want to be pressuring top as aggressively as possible. Do anything in your power to force them back. You don't want to give up these towers for free. There is no glyph, though. This tier 1, not long for this world. You can see that armlet paying dividends. 13 armor on the bear. Very resistant to the tower's auto attacks. Blinking from Panda. Clap to fly. Actually doesn't even bother with the crap. Decides not to get greedy. Just gonna stun up Nestling. Hand of God is here. Fire Panda, not living for long. Will go down quite quickly. Dream Coil on the back lines, catching a few. Bringing them low, but AZN still alive. There was an RP, but just wasn't enough. Gem hits the deck. Delirium wants to pick it up. He will get it. But on the back lines, as mentioned, it's Lost Shorty doing work. Here comes PGG. Wants Capjack, sprouting him up. Already deployed a Sight Device. Our Puck fighting in the trees, trying to blink away. Should be okay to escape. No, drops the silence, takes some damage, orbs forward. The blink dagger's there, doesn't need it. PGG goes down. PGG will die. Immediate buyback from him. Wants to rejoin this fight. He wants a kill. He, oh no, puts himself in the trees in his fury and his rage to get back to the fight. Drops the Sight Device. Might not be able to kill Capjack because Azia gets entangled. Actually will be okay. The bear will die as well. That Lone Druid goes down, and with it, the saving grace. Boy, he almost got away though. PGG TP's into the trees. Gets caught, just barely gets that sprout. Really had to stretch for it. Then gets the Sight Device off after the cooldown. But they forced out the buyback from him. Great play again in the fight by Lost Shorty, and he's been rewarded for it with some gold. He's got his own Sight Device up now. The perfect item to punish that split push. A Puck with a Blink Dagger. No Panda ultimate. Remember, they have a gem, or they did have a gem. Delirium? Oh, it looks like they actually lost it. Yeah, he did go down to the puck. And Lost Shorty looking for a Rosh deal. Blinks in. He just on our TA. And the saddest fairy dragon you'll ever see. They just had faith that they would get that one, basically. They're just sitting there like, well, you're not going to steal this from us. We'll be okay. They were okay, but probably could have just spammed some Shadow Poison on that puck. They did see he was there with the orb earlier. Or she, whatever. That thing, that fairy dragon thing. PGG gets caught top. Skewer back in. We'll TP out. RP will be used. That's some hate. That's some hate or that's some love by a different name. Panda ult not online for 30 seconds, so not really a situation where the retry can go high ground. Although with RP down, maybe Desolator up on the TA. Maybe they can force this fight. There's no puck. RP's on cooldown. Actually, I guess they can. No buyback on that puck either. Just doing some chip damage, slowly working the tower. You can see that -6 armor really working into it pretty effectively. Templar Assassin actually a reasonable mid-game pushing hero. I mean, she's a bit risky to get caught under tower as, of course, sure, you have refraction, but under tower, you're taking so many auto attacks, your refraction doesn't amount to much, and she's squishy. But the refraction damage, as well as the Desolator minus armor and damage, just means, like, every auto attack you hit will probably do, I don't know, 20% of the tower's HP. Not 20%, 1/20th or 5% or so. Something like that, maybe a little bit less, but that's a lot for a mid-game kind of tempo controller, solo mid, semi-carry like a Templar Assassin. Did end up going back for the Blink Dagger after the Yasha, so didn't rush those next damage items. I mean, it's okay to go back for Blink, I just find it kind of odd, because if you really want to force the fights, Blink is better, and if you want to split push, Blink, going back for Blink somewhat helps you, but you're a TA against a team that lacks damage over time, and I mean, if you get caught by a Blink RP, you're dead regardless of whether you have that Blink Dagger or not. Same for a Blink Dream Coil. So I feel it's somewhat superfluous, but working out reasonably well so far for Azion. He's been using it just to get an extra wave or two of creeps down the drain and then blinks away to safety. PGG, after all those deaths, all those buybacks, and clowny situations, he's 2-4. He's going to TP towards his Ancients, looking to stack them, I imagine, and then farm them. Something else to mention is, of course, Lone Druid has that Empower on his side. So, just another reason why he doesn't need that many items. Continues to sit in range form, though. I'm really not a fan of this. I mean, I know I sound like that nagging mother who's like, don't forget your coat, it's chilly outside, but seriously, this is how good bears die and go to heaven. And PGG wants to send that bear to heaven. He's faking a TP towards the mid lane. Thing is, if he gets caught by a Blink Clap from the Panda, Boulder Toss, and then TA jumps in, they can just blow him up almost instantly. And sure, there's a Chen, but they can kill him in, like, a meld crit, and then potentially, like, 2 more auto attacks from the TA, or maybe just a few from the team and 1 auto attack from the TA. That's about 3 or 4 seconds to bring him down when he's in range form. But so far, Capjack, he stemmed the bleeding for the most part. He's only got 1 death since I last chastised this playstyle, and, well, we'll see if it gets punished anymore. The retry, due to their lack of true late-game heroes, really needs to prioritize those late-game items. I mentioned this a long time ago. I think I mentioned this at like the 10 to 12 minute mark, but it's even more true now. We need to see things like the Sight Device being farmed up by the Keeper of the Light. And I know that sounds a little silly, but he's a Keeper of the Light. I mean, he can start building towards one now. He's got all his basic utility items. PGG needs to get some damage. BKB's up. Need to look at an MKB, a Daedalus, those kinds of items, because they need that physical damage to synergize with the Templar Assassin, to give them that extra punch late game. Something like a Necro 3 could have been okay earlier, but at this point, way too late for that. They need some actual physical damage that'll scale. PGG gets caught. Oh no. He's got a BKB. He'll get coiled up. He'll pop that BKB. He can run out of the coil. You will not get stunned by that, but he will get netted by our Chen player. Now the Illuminate flies through. Azion on the back lines. Doing work. No meld crit yet, but will get the kill regardless, and now it's Capjack on the run. He'll be the next in line. It's a massacre. It's looking like it might even be a team wipe. That Lone Druid Bear not doing quite enough. Oh no, Shaco gets sprouted up, trapped out of position, not able to escape in the end. He will go down, never dropped an RP. Will buy back immediately. Our Puck, not able to do so. That Magnus buyback looking rather worthless right now. Panda used his ult, sure, but you still have an Aegis on Aziad, and this could be the beginning of the end for Outpride with their 2 stand-ins. We need some lucky entangles. We'll get 1 to start. We're going to need a lot more than that from Capjack. The Bear, however, just doesn't stand up against this kind of damage. Went for a Demon Edge Hyperstone. And when you're up against TA with a Desolator, well, yeah, Magnus just tried to blink in and ult and immediately got hexed and then just destroyed by PGG. Nice reactions there. Well, I was talking about item selection, so good play from him. McDeath thrown up in the air. Too damn tanky, though. One lane of Rax to fall. RP still available, but Magnet for 30 seconds. This should be an opportunity. Kill that bear. No resummon. Can look at 2 lanes of Rax now. RP not going to be there for 30 seconds. Or they could back off and play it safe. And, well, they're going to back off and play it safe. Is this really a PGG team? Have they changed their ways? Oy, oy, oy. PGG. Getting closer and closer to that damage item that he's been searching for all his life. He's been waiting for this moment. And he'll peep into the jungle. Continue that farm. Looking now at the gold graph. Haven't really shown it much. My apologies for that. Just been kind of on jittery because of all those microphone issues and various technical issues earlier. But looking at a 15,000 gold lead for the retry, as well as a 15,000 experience lead, and a well-executed global strat from them, and just split push, basically. I feel like El Pride should have been completely fine this game, but so many deaths on Capjack, some one-hero RPs that allowed the retry to break high ground, and good decision-making for the retry. Going for Rosh, abusing the fact that they have Templar Assassin and they're on the dire side, or using it to their advantage, I should say. That's smart play, and getting the early sight device on PGG. I think the Orchid Shadowblade would have been fine too and served a similar role, but just getting this good map control ganking item, not going for anything like a Necro Book or an Aghanims, because those items actually don't put as much pressure on the map as you'd think, since sure they push the lanes, but they don't put the fear of God into anybody as far as getting killed off. And oh no. Oh, Nestlick. You're killing me, Home Slice. You are killing me. His ping looks fine for the moment. I guess it must be some sort of packet loss. You can have good ping and still have a basically unplayable connection in any online game. But guys, thank you all for tuning in. I, of course, am LD. I'll be on the summit. You're watching the WePlay.tv Dota 2 League. And while we have a moment here, I will show you the brackets for today. We're in Group D. The Retry, El Pride, Fnatic EU, and Kaipi. Only 2 teams will emerge. Your winner bracket champions will be first place. Your loser bracket champions will be second place. All matches are best of 1. Right now, we're in our first best of 1 of the evening, but we have a lot more coming your way. Fnatic EU versus Kaipi, the next match to be played. I think a lot of people, after the way Kaipi performed in the EMS grinder last week, might even say that Kaipi's the second best team in this group, and I couldn't entirely disagree with them. They play well, but of course, they haven't really established themselves. So, and I really do feel like any of these 3 teams has a chance to advance. El Pride not having Massacre, maybe making things a bit harder for them. Just having 2 stand-ins, it's a lot to have to deal with for a team that's already, you know, trying to recover from losing Vegas a few weeks back and trying to find their footing as a team. But if I had to if I was a betting man, I would probably say Fnatic EU 1, Kaipi 2. I feel like the retry just not really quite as polished as they need to be. Fnatic EU should be a comfortable one at that. I imagine they'll kind of just stomp both of their best-of-1 games. But I say that, and Kaipi defeated Team Liquid, defeated the Absolute Legends main squad, and I believe put up a pretty good fight against Na'Vi. I can't remember exactly. I only got to watch the beginning of the game, and then I think I fell asleep. But a strong team, one that can't really be underrated. So anyway, and sort of not an unknown team, but a team that was sort of viewed as middle of the pack and has showed some signs of maybe being a stronger team, especially adding Eternal Envy and putting him in that 1 role too. Putting him in that hard carry position. Something I know he said he wanted to experiment with building his own team of playing the 1, the 2, or the 3, and basically not being the hard support anymore. And well, he's had his opportunity so far, looking decent. But yeah, guys, thank you all for joining me. It is, of course, an honor and a privilege to be casting these games for you. I know you all have a choice. I know Tech Labs is going on, which sounds awesome. Toby and Cheever both casting that one. But we play, I think it's a pretty cool format. It doesn't necessarily have the biggest names for each individual group. Like, we have one really awesome team in each group, and then some lesser known but still interesting teams. But as the tournament advances, we'll get to a point where we could be looking at, say, Na'Vi, Empire, Virtus Pro, Fnatic, Dignitas, Team Liquid, No Tidehunter, Mouse, maybe. I think that might be 8 or 9 teams, basically as our final 8 teams, something like that. And that would be an absolute blast. It'll be double elimination, all matches best of 3, grand finals best of 5, I believe. That would be such a treat. So I'm looking forward to the later phases of this tournament, but the organizers, they wanted to do a bigger tournament with more teams and a longer format. So glad that they went with this GSL style. At least this way we get through the less worthy teams quickly. We get to the good games faster. Not having any of those meaningless round-robin games in some other events. And, well, hopefully we'll have it on pause now. Capjack going to ask if the retry are ready. Surprised that we're not seeing a PGG on pause. Has he really changed his ways, guys? Has he? Is it possible? I don't know if I believe that. But here we go. Back inside the game. Of course, this is a best out of one. Currently, the retry leading by a whopping 17,000 gold, 15,000 experience. Game well in hand, but not completely secured yet. They're up 1 Rax, but they're up against a big team fight on the side of El Pride. The good news for them is Capjack is rather poor. He also doesn't have the double bear right now. We just saw how that bear absolutely melts to minus armor. Anyway, what I was going to say earlier is going back for a Demon Edge is kind of risky and questionable in some ways against Templar Assassin because you need armor on your bear. You're up against minus 11 armor, I believe it is, from the Templar Assassin alone. Oh, sorry, even more than that. Minus 14. I was thinking of Assault Cuirass, not her meld, but yeah, minus 14 armor. That puts your bear at what? 0 armor? Yeah, even with the armlet, just not going to be enough. So going for the Demon Edge, Assault Cuirass is not going to fully protect the bear, but at least getting something like a plate mail, getting something like a chain mail at the very least. I mean, it's very cost efficient and cheap, and you generally will have the inventory slots. You can get rid of that Stout Shield, that Orb of Venom at this point in the game. They don't offer a whole lot. The bear is just not going to do much in the fights as long as Templar Assassin is there. But PGG gets caught out of position, will be blink hexed as he lost his focus. He's going to try for a TP out. Too late. Blows the BKB charge and dies. He has the buyback. Rosh coming up in a few minutes. Shouldn't buy back, though. Really don't need to. There's no tier 1 top. They won't be able to get to the tier 2. And meanwhile, a wild AZN appears mid. Gone for the Chrysalis. Gone for the big burst damage. I honestly don't know if El Pride can deal with this Templar Assassin. If she doesn't get entangled, she doesn't get RP'd, she is just going to tear their team a new one. It pretty much will come down to the positioning of him at this point. I keep on trying to decide how I'm supposed to pronounce it. I'm saying AZN. I imagine some people are probably telling me no, it's Asian in the chat, so I'll say a little bit of both. AZN, Asian. 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 There you go. Asian. Got it. Got it in the bag. I don't know why I care so much, but I'm still scarred from when people flame me for how I pronounce Zhou's name back in my young days as a caster. I don't think I've ever seen so many flames in my life. Meanwhile, every caster pretty much has their own pronunciation of his name, so it's not even like I'm the only one who does it differently. Well, that scarred me. I was young, I was feeble, I was easily scared. So what I was talking about earlier for the retry is their supports need to farm those big late game items to compensate for the fact that they don't have strong late game naturally as far as like damage and utility goes. We're gonna see a big 5-hero smoke gank by El Pride. Looking at the map right now, incredibly risky gank. Shows that they're desperate because they have no idea where anyone is on the retry. This is like the easiest way to lose a game is to 5-man smoke when you're down a Rax blindly. I guess they imagine Rosh is respawning soon, maybe trying to catch some heroes at the Ancients. But without the vision, it's risky, and for the retry, well, they see pretty much everything. They see those creeps in the base. Nobody defending this. This is the most blatant warning that there's a smoke gank coming you'll ever see. But in spite of that, Azia gets caught at the tower and gets burst down. Does he have buyback? Oh man, you really should not see that coming. I mean, there are creeps hitting your racks right now. You should definitely know that they're coming for the smoke gank, but he just didn't expect them to dive him at the tier 2, I guess, and gets picked off, unfortunately. So maybe the discipline's slipping a little bit just because of that long delay. Obviously something that can influence the players. And now, El Pride looking to claw their way back into this game. They're down 15k. They're not out of the fight just yet. They're going on Rosh. The Basher, or the MKB rather, completed on the Bear. Looking to bring it down quickly. And, wow, the retry just content to give this up. They want to look to break the tier 3 bottom. We'll see immediate 4-5-man teleport back to the base, back to that bottom lane. The tier 4s took some chip damage. Nothing too bad, though. The retry just not feeling they could contest without their Templar Assassin, who unfortunately is not a buyback. So a really well-timed smoke gank from El Pride. I mean, I called it desperate and risky because it was. I mean, they had no vision. The retry should have seen it coming from a mile away, but hey, it worked. When you're behind like this and you see that they're probably going to get another Aegis, you can't let the Templar Assassin get that. If she gets that, that's pretty much a get-out-of-jail-free card that should allow them to get 2 racks and with that win the game. So they took a risk, but a necessary one, an intelligent one. Sometimes you just have to gamble in Dota. Pays off, pulls them back in the game. Now they're going for another smoke, having that Aegis up on Capjack, who is allergic to being in range form. Or in melee form, and for some reason, it's the one leading the ganks. They have a lot of faith in his entangle skills. We could see a 4-staff to the low ground. We will. Probably should be running to the left, but worried about the cutoff, and now he's in trouble. He's got the Ghost Scepter. If he gets entangled, he should Ghost Scepter. Needed that first hit entangle, I feel. They're still diving. They're still chasing. This is a little bit far, and Capjack sitting at range for him. He's got the Aegis, but he's not going to have it for very long if he gets boulder tossed here. Who are they going to go on? Now he'll pop into melee form. No focus fire. No boulder toss for quite some time. Now he'll start taking damage. The RP, blinking RP, not actually cast. Shaco holds onto it. Still not dropping that RP. Still being controlled quite nicely by this Panda. The bear finally Cyclone up in the air. Not the best bear Michael will ever see, but a good RP. Catching out 3 from Shaco. Big damage being done, but the Illuminate, the winning blow, and on the back lines is PGG. It's Asian cleaning house, just knocking everyone down, pucking them out to a hail of bullets, of lasers, of blades of death, and now Android disrupted will be our last. This is a team wipe. A team wipe. Puck buys back, but the damage done.
You never could keep a secret.
Yeah, I don't really know why the Lone Druid is the one leading these smoke ganks, and I'm also not entirely sure why he's constantly in range for him. And I guess the last thing I would question is, they're probably better off turtling a bit. I mean, they had the Aegis of the Immortal on the Lone Druid. Sure, you don't really want to take a fight at your base, simply because if you do, then your Rax is already being banged upon, and if you lose that fight, you're in trouble. But smoking this far out, they went all the way from here, basically the enemy tier 2. It's so much time for the enemy team to react. They were spotted here, they chase into the river, then they chase all the way up the lane. I mean, it's all the time in the world for the Retry to react. I didn't really feel the situation was that desperate with that Aegis on their team, but clearly they disagreed with that assessment and felt like they had to force the issue, and unfortunately, not going to work out. They lose the Aegis. It was actually a team wipe and an Aegis loss, so 6 heroes dead, basically, and a puck buyback on top of it all. Massive, massive economic damage, and the graphs reflecting it. Over 20k gold deficit, or about 20k experience deficit. So guys, we are running a bit behind schedule with the endless barrage of pauses and disconnects, but we will have 4 more matches coming up for you guys later today after this one. The way that this double elimination bracket format works is we don't actually play the grand finals because 2 teams advance, so there's no point. First place is always going to be determined as far as seed goes just by whoever wins the winner's bracket, and then second place, your loser bracket champion. So we only play 5 best of ones, but every game matters. If you lose 1 game, you get knocked down. If you lose 2 games, you're out. And you don't really have much margin for error because all matches are best of 1. Crystal has been up on the TA for a while. No real item progression because of that earlier death, slowing her down at the mid tower. Assault Cuirass for Macbeth. That'll be his next choice. I do like the item selection on most of the heroes overall. I mean, the Blink Dagger for TA, I didn't feel like it was super necessary, but a lot of the other item choices, the BKB on PGG is quite nice, forcing things out like RP when he TPs out, and making the blow their big spells on him. That's pretty helpful. The Mass Force Staff's fantastic against Lone Druid, fantastic against the Entangles, as well as just the Magnus Blink RP attempts. We've seen them scattering Delta Split style. Delta Split style. Getting out of harm's way. And the Ghost Scepters, a great choice against Lone Druid because, frankly, Elpride don't really have much magical damage. Here comes the unpause, guys. This could be the end with that massive six hero team wipe, basically. Aegis and 5 heroes all biting the dust. Now we'll go on bottom lane, and this looks to be potentially the end of the game. No buybacks available. Mag dead for a while. No RP for a full minute. Dream Coil also on cooldown. I don't know why I click on the heroes. I always forget about those little green diamonds. And I don't know why I'm telling you that, but I am. And now we're going to breach the high ground. Looking to go on this tower. That minus armor really helping it to drop quickly. And now a wild PGG with a Desolator of his own. Well, not really the most efficient item, but just wanted something now. And with the double Desolators, they're going to take 2 lanes of Rax. It looks like the Retry are going to take this first best of 1 and 5 to come, or 4 to come, 5 total on the day for the We Play Group D Round 1 stages of action. Here we go. Going for the tier 4s. Going for the GG. There is an RP in 25 seconds. They're not going for the Mega Creeps, but they do have 2 lanes of Rax. They do a buyback on Prophet and TA. They're 2 cores. Panda ult cooling down in 7 seconds time. Drunken Haze on the Bear. Such a good hero versus Lone Druid. Dream Quill will hit PGG, who says, "Hi Puck, I have BKB, I have Desolator." Whoa, whoa, whoa. Down he'll go. Pretty easy at that. Now the Panda ult flies out. Capjack in that range form, on the run again. Now Android P, likely to drop next. Big RP, but no follow-up. Won't even dent these heroes. They're all still healthy. They're all still fine. And Team PGG will be the first team into the winners bracket finals of Group D. Slowly but surely, well, very slowly, but very surely, crushing their way through El Pride, who just seemed a little bit lost in the series, not having Massacre, having the new potential rumored 5th member, or otherwise second stand-in of Capjack. Not really optimal play from them. The Retry made some mistakes as well, but El Pride made more mistakes. And when you're up against Prophet, you're up against this good global lineup. The Retry just had more margin for error. So guys, thank you all for tuning in. We have 4 more matches awaiting us. Next up, it's going to be Fnatic EU versus Kaipi. That one a best of 1. Then after that, we'll drop down. We'll play a losers bracket final where it will be the El Pride versus the loser of that match. And then we move on to the losers bracket final. First place team will be your winners bracket champion. Second place team will be your losers bracket champion. And the other 2, they go home. I'm LD. Thank you all for joining me. If you enjoy my casting, as always, be sure to follow me. Twitter.com/LDDota. Get all the latest and greatest updates on everything that's going on here at Beyond the Summit. But anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. The WePlay.tv Dota 2 League will continue after this.
You give me virtually any light, I give you up to 3 months of charge, even in total darkness. Your move. You touch technology, technology touches you back. Together, we spark amazing.